Hey guys, welcome back to True Crime with Yvonne. Today's story is about Hannah Cornelius. Hannah Cornelius was born on February 13th, 1996, in Cape Town, Africa. She had a gentle spirit, she was very kind, and humanitarian. Her friends and family consider her to be very thoughtful. She was always the life of those around her. Her classmates described her as a very intelligent young lady who was very active in the community and school. To add, she had a heart for animals and volunteered at the animal shelter in Cape Town. For her 16th birthday, her family went on to India. And when she was there, her parents asked her what she wanted for her birthday. And Hannah said, "How could I request anything when there are millions of poor people around me that needs help?" All the consecutive birthdays after, she gave to the community of children nearby. I thought that was so thoughtful of her for a young lady to be thinking of others instead of herself. More than likely, you'll see children for their birthdays. They want something glamorous for themselves, but not Hannah. She also was involved in taking care of the elderly. So her dad said from since she was a child, she was very kind. She just always wanted to give to the poor. Hannah came from a wealthy family. Her father is a magistrate and her mother a very successful lawyer in Cape Town. Hannah and her brother went to private school in Cape Town. Hannah graduated from high school with 6 distinctions. After high school, she studied humanities at Stellenbosch. That was a very prestigious school, and it was big on parties. The place had bars and hotspots in the area. It was a student community. I must state that her parents really wanted her to be in the lawyer field. They were a little disappointed, but after they saw that she stood her ground and made her decision to go into humanities and study what she loved, they respected her and was very proud of her after. On May 26, 2017, Hannah and her male friend Cheslin Marsh decided to go out and celebrate after a long week of study. Cheslin loves skating. So before they went out, Cheslin went to get his skateboard, while Hannah went to get her blue and white City Golf, which is similar to a Jeep. It was a gift from her grandparents. At the nightclub, they had a great time enjoying music, dancing, talking about their week, talking about exams. It was just a nice spot for students to get rid of their stress. So they both drove home. And before they went into their flats, they sat in the car and they were talking. Soon after, Hannah decided to scroll down her window. As they catch some fresh air, not long after, a man with a screwdriver stuck his hand in the window and commanded Hannah to shut up. She was scared and shocked. Remember, it was early in the morning. Another man chastised Cheslin on the passenger's side. Hannah was on the other side, full of fear. He told Cheslin, "If you move, the girl is unalived." They proceeded to rob Hannah and her friend. Shortly after, those 2 men commanded their other 2 friends to come in the back of the car. Now there were 6 people in the car. It was crowded in there. So one of the robbers, named Nashville Julius, had decided to leave because he was uncomfortable. The robber with the screwdriver demanded that Hannah go to the back with the 2 men. He then took the wheel and drove around in the car. The man decided they didn't want the car. However, they wanted some drugs. They then would leave Hannah and Cheslin alone. It felt like a long time before they stopped in Haystoppers Pass. They searched these 2 individuals before they realized that there was no money on board. However, they found a bank card on Cheslin. They now demanded for Hannah to get some money for them. Hannah said she had no money. One of the robbers, Vernon Vitboy, asked for the PIN number for the bank card, which was Chaselin's bank card. Not thinking about the consequences, gave them a wrong PIN number. At some point, they threw Chaselin in the trunk of the car. They then requested for Hannah to drive because it would look weird for a white girl to be sandwiched between two black males in the dark. Hannah was very quiet. She didn't even look in the man's face. She was very obedient. And we may think that this was part of her survival tactics. The men proceeded to drive to the gas station when Vernon Vitboy got out of the car to try and withdraw some money. The card was empty because they had the wrong number. This made Vernon Vitboy very angry. He was very upset at Chaselin. He said this boy will pay one way or the other. They drove out of the gas station with no plans. They kept driving around searching for cocaine. It was too early for their usual cocaine dealer to be out. So they got the drug, which was called Mandrix, from some other random person. After they bought Mandrix, they smoked it at a house nearby in Cryfontaine. When they finished smoking, they turned on Hannah, saying, "That boy is going to die." When they left for the home, Chaselin tried to break loose. He was kicking and fighting in the trunk, trying to get out, but the trunk did not budge. They drove around without a plan. They drove into an abandoned field. There they dragged Chaselin out. Hannah begged for Chaselin's life, but they continued to beat him, verbally abused him until he was knocked unconscious. They asked him to put his head on a brick, where they slammed it with another brick. So gruesome. They believed that Chaselin was dead, so they left him there to die. Hannah was devastated and distraught. Once again, they drove around back into the car and went to a paintball field, an open field. They handed each other condoms and did the unthinkable to Hannah. Then dragged Hannah back into the car, in the trunk of the car this time, and drove 20 kilometers outside of Stellenbosch. When they stopped by the side of the road near a vineyard, they went to the trunk of the car and forced Hannah out. But Hannah was hesitant this time. She tried to hold on to the trunk, but they pulled her out. She didn't know what was going to be next. One of the robbers stabbed Hannah in the neck. It bled uncontrollable. Hannah tried to stop the bleeding by adding pressure. They dragged her out of the car. The two men looked for something to kill Hannah. They couldn't bear the sight of the blood forcing coming out of her neck. They found a big rock about 90 pounds and hit her 2 times on the head, knocking her out and killing her instantly. Hannah and Chaselin were robbed and kidnapped around 3 a.m. on May 27, 2017. Hannah was killed around 5 a.m. on the 27th of May. The 3 men drove to Cryfontaine after killing Hannah. They met a woman going to work. They cursed and disrespected her. The lady slipped and fell due to the embarrassment. But when she slipped and fell, they came out the car, got her bag, got back in, and drove away. Not long after, they met another lady walking by. They cursed her, they embarrassed her, but this time they got out of the car and dragged this lady inside. She was kicking and screaming. They drove to a gas station with the lady's bank card. They took a while to withdraw the money. This time they got 3,000 rand. For her payment of giving them their money, they decided to let her go. They dropped the lady where they kidnapped her from. Surprisingly, Chaselin survived the attack. There was a couple walking by and they heard moaning and groaning, and they saw a man with blood all over him. They didn't help him because they thought he was part of the gang, but he did tell them to call the police. He walked Not too far, he stumbled his way to an area where he went to get help. He wanted to desperately find Hannah. He was then taken to the police where they questioned him. He told them that they had his friend. The rush was on to find Hannah. The police published an alert to find the three young men that were responsible for this tragedy. The police undercover spotted a blue and white City Golf. They followed the car and found two of the three murderers, Geraldo Parson and Vernon Vitboy. They now realized that they were being followed. They went on a high-speed chase on the streets of Stellenbosch. The boys were on the run. They drove into the suburbs where it was like a gated community, and they didn't have anywhere to drive, so they had to get out of the car and run by foot. I think one of them went into the river and the other one was still running on land. However, shortly after, the undercover cops caught them and took them into the police station. They were placed in two different cars and cells so they don't influence each other about what story to tell. When they were questioned, they started to tell on each other. One of the criminals told the police where Hannah body was and the evil that was done to her. They even told about the other two ladies that they encountered. The police went to the crime scene and collected the evidence. Vernon was trying to pin everything on Geraldo. The police told them that Chaselin survived their attack. They were shocked. They even disclosed the two other men involved in the murder act. They were placed under arrest. Julius involved in the initial plan, but not the murder. Vernon and Geraldo started playing dumb, but the police had collected all the evidence. Okay, so then they were charged with kidnapping, murder, and rape, and attempted murder of Chaselin. Nashville Julius was only charged with robbery and kidnapping. He's also serving 22 years for his part in the crime. Chaselin was traumatized and distraught that he lost a great friend. He also lost his hearing in one ear. He did not go back to school. According to the reports, he dropped out of the university due to the stress and the trauma that he experienced. As for the Cornelius family, they had lost a big part of their family, so they grieved a lot. They set up a foundation in Hannah's name to serve poor children in the community. 1 year after the mom passed away, may her soul rest in peace as well, she went out swimming and never came back. They said she was grieving for the loss of her daughter and she took her life, but the father said that's not true. Maybe the waves were too high and she didn't come back. Hannah's father gave up his role as a magistrate and became a full-time father to his son. He said he couldn't be partial after what had happened to his daughter, so he decided not to be there anymore. It didn't serve any more purpose for him. The son didn't realize what was going on, but he did ask for his sister every single day after that case happened. The son was autistic. So Vernon, Geraldo, and Eben was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison. They also was given 100 years each. And like I said before, Nashville Julius, he was charged for robbery and kidnapping, and he got 22 years in jail. Guys, let me know what you think of this story. Do you think they all should have gotten the death penalty? And if you enjoy this video and you would like to hear more, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Take care. Till next time.